Hello guys, today we have a few interesting stories that you can listen on the background while you are doing your homework, household chores, or deciding go to sleep. Also, you will be able to answer on the questions for each story which don't have obviously answers. Let's get started. The first story's title sounds like, Explaining the Consequences of Bullies' Actions to My Son. My family lives in Canada, this is important. My kid was being bullied at school. He is a big kid and I have always told him to resolve his problems with words. I've told him to report bullying to teachers and if they don't listen to tell the principal. Also to tell me and his mom so we can follow up. My son's after-school program is a Taekwondo class, also important. He's been in Taekwondo since he was in kindergarten. He also plays hockey. There are a group of kids at his school that have been assholes to my kid and his friends. My kid did the right thing and told the teacher monitoring recess. She told him that the kids were new to Canada and that they didn't know how to fit in yet. He went to the principal and got told pretty much the same thing, so he told his mom. She wanted to go confront the parents and she likely would have ended up in custody. She's Irish. Like real Irish from Ireland, not Marky Mark Irish. I told her I would take care of it. I made an appointment to talk to the principal and teacher along with my son. I went into the meeting with a simple goal, to stop the bullying. The principal and teacher both tried the same excuse on me, that these kids were newcomers and they weren't fully aware of how Canada was different from their home country and what they saw on American TV. I asked what was being done to stop it. They said they had talked to the boys. I asked if the parents had been brought in and talked to. He said no. Okay, so I turned to my kid and I explained that in Canada kids under 12 years old cannot be charged with a crime. In fact, they can't even be arrested. Worst case scenario, if anything happened, he might have to do some community service. The principal and teacher went crazy telling me that I can't tell him that. I asked them if I was lying, they both shut up. I pointed to them and told my kid to remember that they didn't say I was wrong. I told him to tell me in a week if he was still being bullied. My understanding is that all the bullies' parents were called in and told to control their children. The bullies were also given library detention instead of recess for a month. I'm satisfied with the result, but the teacher and principal seemed upset. My wife thinks I should have given him the information privately. And the question is it wrong to tell a child the truth about the system if adults refuse to protect them? This story may be longer than others. The title sounds like, I told my uncle I like my busy academic life better than his kids' homeschool life and now I'm banned from visiting. Backstory: my mom died when I was 14 years old girl. She had been sick for a while and before she died she set everything up so I would go to her best friend Katie. My uncle Nick fought for custody of me after my mom died because he thought I should be with family. Katie has custody of me and adopted me, but I spend one weekend a month with Nick and his family, although lately it's been a little less because of competitions. The visits to Nick's house aren't court-ordered. Katie just wants me to have a connection with my bio family. Nick and Katie are very different parents. Katie and her husband are both doctors. Nick is a cop and his wife is a preschool teacher. I've been in private school my entire life and my school is 1-2 years ahead of the local public schools, which are also some of the best in the area and are ahead of the public schools in other areas. Nick and his wife homeschool their kids, 10, 14, 16, mostly for political reasons. I do competitive cheerleading through my school and I do competitive dance through a studio. I also play piano. I used to do clarinet, but I just quit to have more time for cheer. Nick's kids go to church youth group and youth choir and don't do any other activities. Katie also makes me earn my allowance. I have to work and she'll match whatever I make at the end of the month and Nick just gives his kids money whenever. I was at Nick's house last weekend and he was doing his usual thing where he talks shit about Katie and her parenting and how I never have free time. Not true BTW. Because I'm always doing homework or at dance or cheer or working, and how his kids actually get to be kids because they only do 2-3 hours of school a day and don't have to worry about competitions or maintaining a 3 GPA. My school requires you to have a 3 for any extracurriculars, and if I'm not allowed to participate in school activities, I'm not allowed to participate in after-school activities. He said something like, wouldn't it be nice to slow down and get to be a kid like his kids do? I told him I like my life the way it is and I wouldn't want to be like his kids. I'm going to start dual enrollment college classes next year, And I don't know if his kids are even gonna be able to go to college considering my 10-year-old cousin still can't multiply single-digit numbers, and my 14-year-old cousin is technically a grade above me but she can't solve simple linear equations. Plus they don't have any hobbies. Every time I come over, we just go to the mall and look around and watch movies at their house and eat a lot of fast food. He got pissed because I have no right to criticize his parenting and insult his kids, so he called Katie and told her to pick me up early because I'm a spoiled, entitled brat that thinks I'm better than them. Katie thinks I should have just smiled and nodded and that I went a little too far. We've decided it'll be best if I don't go to their house for a while, but I'm starting to feel bad because I did kinda call my cousin stupid. Question for you, was she right to stand up for her future, or should she have kept her mouth shut? The next story has a title. My sister-in-law ruined our wedding, never apologized, and now we're questioning if we're wrong for skipping hers. I late 20s female have been with my husband for 7 years and we got married 9 months ago. I've known his sister, Lauren, for over 10 years and we were actually friends before I ever dated her brother and met him through her. Our relationship has always been a bit unstable in my opinion. Publicly she is affectionate and calls me her sister, but privately the dynamic has often felt tense and competitive with both her and my mill. Conversations tend to revolve around her, and I've often felt an underlying sense of comparison rather than genuine support. I've always tried to keep the peace because family is important to me. I am generally easygoing and non-confrontational, and if I hurt someone, I apologize quickly and try to resolve things. Over the years, my husband has grown more confident in setting respectful boundaries, and I sometimes feel that shift has caused friction within his family. There have been several moments that made me uncomfortable. For example, my SIL and I used to do Bible study together at my house, just the two of us. During one conversation, she admitted she feels jealous when other people experience God's love and wishes she could have it just for herself. That comment really surprised me and made me realize how strongly comparison seems to affect her mindset. When she got engaged, I fully celebrated her. Around the same time and about 2 months before our wedding, my husband and I upgraded my engagement ring when we got our wedding bands, something we had already planned long before. She accused us of only doing it because she got engaged, which wasn't true. Things escalated during our wedding planning. She redirected conversations to herself, was disengaged during dress shopping, wore white to my bridal shower, and we even moved our wedding date, affecting 80 guests to accommodate her work schedule. The biggest issue involved the flowers. My mother-in-law is a professional florist and offered to do them, and we paid her like a normal client. I trusted her and changed multiple ideas based on her feedback. She and my SIL refused to show previews, and the day before the wedding, they revealed arrangements that looked completely different from what we agreed on: think dead, dried leaves, and separate wooden structured arches for my husband and me. When my husband calmly questioned it, my mill called us ungrateful. We went to bed crying the night before our wedding. On the day itself, both my mill and SIL were visibly cold. Guests noticed the tension, and my SIL even threw her bridesmaid gift in the trash. My husband tried to make peace that morning, but she refused. It has now been a year with no apology, accountability, or attempt to repair the relationship, and we've had no contact since the wedding. My sister-in-law is getting married this weekend, and my husband doesn't want to attend because he no longer feels respected or emotionally safe around them. I support his decision, but now we're questioning ourselves. What do you think, guys? Would you go for family obligation or protect your peace? The last story calls. I quit drinking, girlfriend resents it and labels my boundaries as control, and when I confronted flirty ex texting, she used my sobriety against me. I'm a man 32 years old, she's 29, together a little over 3 years. We don't have kids, we live separately but spend most nights together. For context, I quit drinking 9 months ago after realizing I was sliding into drink to turn my brain off territory. No DUI, no violent stuff, but I was waking up anxious, missing mornings, gaining weight, being a worse son and friend. I started therapy, got serious, and now I'm honestly proud of myself. My girlfriend drinks socially but also uses alcohol as her main stress relief. When we started dating, that felt normal. Now it feels like a tug-of-war where the rope is my boundaries. At first she said she supported me, but over time she's gotten mean in this very specific way. If I say I'm not drinking tonight, she'll sigh and say I'm judging her. If I leave a party early because I'm tired, she tells people I'm in my sober phase like it's a quirky personality trend. The worst is when she frames it as me controlling her. Example, last weekend she wanted us to do a wine night at her place and I offered to bring fancy snacks and make it a mocktail night. She got cold instantly and said, "So I'm not allowed to relax in my own home because you decided to be better than everyone." I told her that's not what I said and that I literally don't care if she drinks, I just don't want it to be the whole night's focus. She kept repeating, "You don't care," in this sarcastic voice and then said I'm trying to punish her for having fun. Later she apologized, but it was one of those apologies that turns into a speech about how her ex used to control her and how my sobriety is triggering her trauma. I know trauma is real. I also know she uses it like a shield when she wants the conversation to end. 2 nights ago it blew up because I found out she's been texting an ex again. Not explicit sexting, but the kind of flirty remember us stuff and late-night memes, inside jokes, pet names. When I asked her about it, she said I was being paranoid because I'm addicted to control now instead of alcohol. That line hit me like a slap. I'm not proud, but I raised my voice. She immediately went calm and said, "See, this is why I don't feel safe." Then she told me if I keep acting like her dad and monitoring her choices, she'll end it. I left and sat in my car for 20 minutes like an idiot, just shaking. I can't tell if I'm overreacting or if I'm in a relationship where every boundary becomes proof I'm the bad guy. I love her, but I'm exhausted. How do I even have a productive talk with someone who flips everything into me being controlling, or do I take this as the sign to walk away? This one's heavy. When sobriety becomes a weapon against you, is it time to walk away or can a tough conversation fix it? Which story shocked you most? Write in the comments, and if you liked this format, hit subscribe for more stories every week. Thanks you for watching and see you next time.